13.3 Manage Stakeholder Engagement. Manage stakeholder engagement is a process of communicating and working with stakeholders to meet their needs and expectations, address issues and foster appropriate stakeholder involvement. The key benefit of this process is that it allows the project manager to increase support and minimise resistance from stakeholders. The process is performed throughout the project. That's from Pinball Guide page 5 through 3. Families are often advised that when a new baby is expected into the family, the younger siblings should be informed in the 9th month, not the 1st, because the siblings either totally lose interest in the ensuing months or they're driven mad by the long months of anticipation. There are many parallels between some stakeholders, especially managers and young children. Some of them will want to be involved only when they need to be. And for your peace of mind too, don't involve people too early or they will either totally lose interest in the ensuing months or they will be driven mad by the long months of anticipation and constantly harass you to do something. How do you engage stakeholders? You could employ activities such as engaging stakeholders in appropriate project stages to obtain, confirm or maintain their continued commitment to the success of the project. This also means checking that they're still content with the level and type of communication that they're receiving. Many years ago, I had a manager ask if I could send communication that could be received only by an iPad, because he was hoping that if I did that, then the company would have to buy him an iPad to receive the messages. Managing stakeholder expectations through negotiation and communication, addressing any risks or potential concerns related to stakeholder management and anticipating future issues that may be raised by stakeholders. The wording on this one is really strange. It said anticipating future issues, but a future issue is a risk. But anyway, and clarifying and resolving issues that have been identified. Managing stakeholder engagement helps to ensure that stakeholders clearly understand the project goals, objectives, benefits and risks for the project, as well as how their contribution will enhance project success. And this is an important point. Research has indicated that if someone has an input to a process and understands how they can contribute to that process, then they're more likely to be supportive and remain engaged. Manage stakeholder engagement inputs. Number 1 is a project management plan. Components would include the communication management plan, of course, because it describes the methods, formats and technologies used for stakeholder communication. Risk management plan, it holds the risk categories, risk appetites and reporting formats that can be used to manage stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder engagement plan for guidance and information on managing stakeholder expectations. Change management plan to describe the process for submitting, evaluating and implementing changes to the project. Input number 2, project documents. The documents considered as inputs for this process would include the change log. The change requests and their status are documented in the change log and communicated to the appropriate stakeholders. The issue log. Any project or stakeholder concerns are documented in the issue log, as well as any assigned action items associated with managing the issue. The lessons learned register. Lessons learned early in the project with regard to managing stakeholder engagement can be applied to later phases in the project to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the process. Stakeholder register. This provides the list of project stakeholders and any information needed to execute the stakeholder engagement plan. Input number 3, enterprise environmental factors would include organizational culture, of course, political climate and governance structure of the organization, the personnel administration policies, stakeholder risk thresholds, established communication channels, global, regional or local trends, practices or habits, and geographical distribution of facilities and resources. Input number 4, organizational process assets include corporate policies and procedures for social media, ethics and security, corporate policies and procedures for issue, risk, change and data management, organisational communication requirements, standardised guidelines for development, exchange, storage and retrieval of information and historical information from previous similar projects. Manage stakeholder engagement tools and techniques. Tool and technique number 1, expert judgment. Expertise should be considered from individuals or groups with specialist knowledge or training in the following topics: politics and power structures in the organisation and outside the organisation, environment and culture of the organisation and outside the organisation, analytical and assessment techniques to be used for stakeholder engagement processes, communication methods and strategies, characteristics of stakeholders, stakeholder groups and organisations involved in the current project that may have been involved in previous projects, and requirements management, vendor management and change management. Tools and techniques number 2, communication skills. The methods of communication identified for each stakeholder in the communication management plan are applied during stakeholder engagement management. The project management team uses feedback to assist in understanding stakeholder reaction to the various project management activities and key decisions. Feedback may be collected in the following ways: conversations, both formal and informal, issue identification and discussion, meetings, progress reporting and surveys. Do you remember the difference between a questionnaire and a survey? A questionnaire is a set of questions and the answers to the questions are analysed by the survey. Tools and techniques number 3, interpersonal and team skills. The skills that can be required for this process would include conflict management. The project manager should ensure that conflicts are resolved in a timely manner. That doesn't mean that the project manager has to resolve every conflict. It just means that the project manager has to ensure that they are resolved. In fact, where there's a conflict, the people with the first line responsibility, you need to know this for the exam, for settling the conflict are the people engaged in the conflict themselves. The project manager comes in if they can't settle it. Cultural awareness. This is used to help the project manager and team to communicate effectively by considering cultural differences and requirements of stakeholders. Negotiation is used to achieve buy-in and agreement that supports the work of the project or its outcomes and to resolve conflicts within the team or with other stakeholders. Observation, conversation is used to stay in touch with the work and attitudes of the project team members and other stakeholders. Many years ago, the project manager would be closed up in a big office and team members would have to make appointments to see the great person. But nowadays, the project manager is more likely to be a leader who works alongside the team. This enables the project manager to get a feeling for how the team is managing at both a technical level and importantly an emotional level, because sometimes you get reports coming back and things look pretty well okay, but once you get out with the team and you start feeling there's something not quite right and people are overstressed, that there's some conflicts going on, people are unsure of the future, and if you're not with the team, you're not going to pick up in this. Political awareness is achieved through understanding the power relationships within and around the project. Tools and techniques number 4, the ground rules. These are defined in the team charter. They set the expected behaviour for project team members as well as the other stakeholders with regard to stakeholder engagement. Tools and techniques number 5, meetings. These are used to discuss and address any issue or concern regarding stakeholder engagement. The types of meetings that can be beneficial as part of this process would include decision making, issue resolution, lessons learned and retrospectives, project kick-off, sprint planning and status updates. Manage stakeholder engagement outputs. Output number 1, change requests. As a result of managing stakeholder engagement, changes to the project scope or product scope may emerge. All change requests are processed for review and action through the Perform Integrated Change Control process. Output number 2, project management plan updates. And you can probably guess this is going to say any change to the project management plan goes through the organization's change control process via a change request. Components of the project management plan that may require a change request would include a communications management plan. This is updated to reflect new or changed stakeholder requirements. The stakeholder engagement plan is updated to reflect new or changed management strategies required to effectively engage stakeholders. Output number 3, project document updates, which would include the change log, which would be updated based on any change requests. The issue log may be updated to reflect an update to or the development of an issue log entry. A lessons learned register, updated with effective or ineffective approaches to managing stakeholder engagement so that the information can be used in this project or future projects. The stakeholder register may be updated based on new information provided to stakeholders about resolved issues, approved changes and general project status. That brings us to the end of Manage Stakeholder Engagement. The next lesson is Monitor Stakeholder Engagements. So please monitor the corresponding chapter in the Pinball Guide before watching the video.